The man accused of killing and then his parents.
Law enforcement officials showing a meat grinder and gas can were found in the trunk of what they say is Guy's car.
Guy is a college student in Louisiana. The Knox County Sheriff's Office called the crime scene gruesome.
It would be described as horrific, a very gruesome crime scene.
What investigators found inside has been dubbed by the state as a diabolical stew.
Knoxville, Tennessee, November 2016. A loving family spends a peaceful Thanksgiving together with no idea of the horror to come. Joel and Lisa Guy were the loves of each other's lives. Described by those around them as true soulmates, the pair had been happily married for over 30 years. They invited their children to celebrate Thanksgiving in their family home, the same home that 2 days later would be described by police as a house of horrors. Scattered limbs, the stench of chemicals, and a head found boiling in a pot on the stovetop. This is the horrible story of Joel and Lisa Guy's awful demise. Joel Guy was a pipeline engineer born in 1955. He already had 3 daughters from a previous relationship when he met the love of his life, Lisa. Joel and Lisa went on to have a son together named Joel after his father. Joel Michael Jr., as he was known, was born in 1988 and was the couple's only child together. Yet Joel Sr. and Lisa remained close to Joel Sr.'s 3 daughters, with one of them describing Lisa as a loving mother to them all.
Now, Lisa was not your mother, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you tell the jury when you met Lisa and how that came about?
Lisa, when Michelle and I were 3, they met, and she's been like a second mother to us since before I can remember.
After 31 happy years of marriage, Joel Sr. had made retirement plans and was selling their house in Knoxville, Tennessee. Joel and Lisa were looking forward to being able to spend more time with each other in retirement. They had bought a house in Burgonsville, Tennessee, where they planned to live out their retirement. This was to be Lisa and Joel's last Thanksgiving in their Knoxville family home before their move.
Are you aware of Lisa's plans to retire?
Yes, she was excited about retiring and just spending her time. They were madly in love, so just spending time with each other.
It would be a celebration of their life together as they looked forward to a new chapter. But this new chapter would never arrive. Fast forward to Thursday, November 24th, 2016, Thanksgiving Day. The couple invited Joel Sr.'s 3 daughters and their children, along with their son Joel Jr., to celebrate Thanksgiving with them. Joel Jr. was normally reclusive and quiet, but Michelle Tyler, his half-sister, suggests that on this occasion, he was behaving unusually. Michelle states that Joel Jr. made more of an effort with his half-sister's children that Thanksgiving, something he had never done before. Perhaps there was something special about this Thanksgiving, she thought, as the last in the family home.
This day was a little different. It was always more, the typical time with Dad and Lisa was more laughing and banter, but if Joel Michael Jr. was there, he wasn't ever hanging with us doing that banter. He would be in his room.
And at some point, did he interact, though, with your children?
The Thanksgiving was different. The Thanksgiving was completely different. The moment that I arrived, Joel Michael Jr. was talking to us, and so he had never. I'm not sure Joel Michael Jr. knew my kids' names, and so for him to talk to them was odd.
She had no idea it would be their last Thanksgiving as a family at all. After the Thanksgiving celebrations were over, Joel Sr.'s 3 daughters left with their children, and Joel Sr. and Lisa Guy remained in the house with their son Joel Jr. Joel Jr. had his own apartment in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but remained with his parents after the holiday in their Knoxville home, where he had his own bedroom. Joel had been a student at Louisiana State University for several years. Though he had wanted to be a plastic surgeon, Joel dropped out of college in 2015 and had not had a job since. He was reliant on his parents and financially insecure. On the afternoon of Saturday, 26 November 2016, 2 days after Thanksgiving, Lisa Guy went out shopping for groceries at their local Walmart. At 3 p.m. the same day, her son, Joel Jr., was seen shopping in the same Walmart, buying bandages and chemicals. The next day, Sunday, November 27, 2016, Joel Jr. left the Knoxville house to seek medical aid for cuts he had sustained on his hand, driving back to Baton Rouge to be seen at the student clinic. On their own, neither action was suspicious. But on Monday, November 28th, Lisa Guy failed to show up for work. Her boss, Jennifer Whited, began to worry. The company Lisa worked for was throwing her a retirement party, and she was missing it. She wasn't answering her home phone nor her mobile. Worried for Lisa's safety, Jennifer placed a call to 911, asking for Knox County police officers to do a welfare check on the Guy family.
Knoxville Police Communications. Yes, I have an employee that has not reported for work today, and highly unlike her. I've tried calling her home number, I've tried calling cell phone, and can't get a hold of her. What can we do about that? Can somebody go by and check on them?
Yeah, do you know her address?
I do.
What is that?
It is Golden View Lane.
Okay. And what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Jennifer Whited, Whited.
And what company are you with?
Jacobs Engineering.
Okay, what's the employee's name?
Lisa Guy, Guy. Her husband's name is Joel, Joel.
Should he be there too? Does he live with her?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And they do have a dog named Jake. I think he's a big baby.
Okay. How old is she, do you know?
She is in her, I think, late 50s.
Do you know if she has any medical issues?
No, I mean, she has high blood pressure, but that's all that I know of. Yeah, I know that their house is for sale, and they are moving, and she is leaving our company, but that's supposed to be Friday, and this definitely isn't like her just not to show up.
Okay. I'll send a call over to officers, have them swing by and check on her. And if anything changes before then, just give us a call back here, okay?
At the same number?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The officer undertaking the welfare check was Stephen Ballard, who went up to the Guy's family home and rang the doorbell, but did not receive a response. He went around to the back of the house, but realized the gate was locked and didn't take any further action. But Lisa's boss remained concerned. An hour or two later, she called 911 a second time to ask for another welfare check. Detective Stephen Ballard went a second time to the house, this time with Detective Jeremy McCord. Looking through the window, they saw groceries, including perishable items such as milk and bacon, scattered all over the floor, and even though the house was for sale, there was no real estate agent lock on the door. They also noted that the back doorknob was missing. Ballard and McCord eventually gained access through the garage door. As they entered, they felt an intense heat. This was the first chilling sign of the horror that lay within.
There were 3 cases of beer, perishables, there was breakfast meat, stuff like that in bags that you could just see sitting there. And then immediately to the right is a formal dining room that had a large amount of long guns laying there. I think there was a red velvet cake at the end of the table. It's just stuck out. And
so taking into account everything you've witnessed thus far, the circumstances present outside as well as what you observed inside, how are you feeling at this point?
It's terrifying because you don't know if somebody needs some help. I mean, it's just an odd situation. There's nothing downstairs that I'm observing that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we go through houses and we clear houses regularly, and most of the time, if you encounter something, you kind of know right when you get in. This was a very different situation because once we get upstairs, it's like the world does a 180. Okay. Everything gets turned upside down.
Inside the house, there were guns lined up on the dining room table. The smell of chemicals in the house was so strong that Ballard said his forehead was tingling in the toxic air.
I actually feel a tingling on my forehead from the time that I entered the home. As we continue on and start up the steps, the heat is more intense. It seems to be getting hotter.
Disturbed by these signs, they feared the worst. And upstairs, their fears were confirmed. The officers found a horrifying sight. A pair of human hands lying at the end of the hallway.
I see a human hand. It was lying in an upright position with another human hand that was closed fist behind it.
And downstairs, something even worse waited in the kitchen. The officers had entered a true horror show. Realizing they could not proceed without backup, they left the property. There was no one physically present in the house, no one alive. Backup was soon called, and forensic investigators arrived at the scene. On entering the house, they saw a large stock pot sat on the stovetop, which was hot. The forensics team also found reddish-brown stains up the stairs, on the walls, and on the banister. But the most grisly evidence of all was found in the bathroom. In addition to a weapon in the bathroom sink, they found 2 blue tubs that contained liquid and pieces of flesh. Nearly every room of the home was filled with evidence. Chemicals and weapons lay about the house, and blood was found everywhere. But the occasional third resident, their son, Joel Jr., was nowhere to be found in the house. He was still alive. The police placed Joel Jr. under surveillance. As the only survivor, he became the only suspect and was apprehended on Tuesday, November 29, 2016 in Baton Rouge. A meat grinder was found in the trunk of his car. So what happened to Lisa and Joel Guy Sr.? It was clear they had been killed, and their own son was the #1 suspect. But why? In a backpack inside the house, officers found a startling piece of evidence: a black notebook used by Joel Jr. This notebook was the key to the deaths of Lisa and Joel Guy Sr. In fact, he had written checklists detailing equipment he needed and steps he would have to take in order to kill his parents.
Minimize things I touch throughout visit. Wear gloves and socks to prevent fingerprints and footprints. Drop something down the garbage disposal to break it. Get him on the ground fixing it. Clean up mess from him before she gets home. Bring blender and food grinder. Grind meat.
The notebook, nicknamed the Book of Premeditation, showed that Joel Jr. had been planning this murder for days, if not weeks. As early as November 7th, nearly 20 days before the murders, CCTV footage shows Joel Jr. shopping for items he would later use for the murders, such as hydrogen peroxide.
This is video of the male subject entering our grocery vestibule on November 26, 2016 at 3:26 p.m.
His internet history similarly shows searches for different chemicals, such as sodium percarbonate, the active ingredient in OxyClean. Joel's plan was to end the lives of both of his parents and make it look like his father had done it. Joel Jr. planned to clean the crime scene and partially burn the house in an attempt to destroy evidence. He also wrote notes about the temperature of the house, stating that he would turn the thermostat up as high as it would go to further remove any evidence of his heinous crimes. As these pieces of evidence were revealed, the timeline of events began to become clear.
And here's one from November 26, 2016 at 12:18, 18 minutes after noon at the 10,900 Parkside Drive Walmart. detailing the items purchased are consistent with what was observed and documented at the Golden View address in the foyer.
On Saturday, November 26th, Lisa Guy went shopping. Left at home with his father, Joel Jr. attacked Joel Sr. in the upstairs exercise room. Police officers noted that the room was a mess, suggesting Joel Sr. fought for his life, but his son overpowered him and attacked him with a knife over 40 times. Lisa Guy arrived home just after midday. She walked into the house carrying the groceries she had just bought with no idea of the horror she was returning to. Perhaps she heard a sound from upstairs or saw some signs of her son's violent turn. She dropped the groceries all over the floor and ran upstairs. But she was too late to save her husband. Instead, her son attacked and killed her. She sustained at least 31 stab wounds. Joel placed his mother's head in a stock pot and set it on the stove, turning the stock pot on so his mother's head would boil. Having obtained a deep cut on his left thumb during the attack on his father, Joel Jr. left the scene to go to Walmart, where he was seen at 3:30 p.m. buying bandages, ointment, and more chemicals. It had been just over 3 hours since Lisa Guy was in Walmart buying groceries for the family. Now, Joel Jr. was shopping in the same Walmart, and both his mother and father were dead. Tragically, upon hearing the news that her daughter had been murdered, Lisa Guy's elderly mother collapsed and was taken to the hospital. She died the day before her daughter's funeral. Lisa's brother stated in court that his mom was heartbroken.
But to find out your daughter was murdered by your own grandchild was heartbreaking. My mother died. There are 3 deaths on your hand, on Joe Michael Guy Jr.'s hands. On that day I lost my family. My mother is gone. My sister is gone. The world has forever changed. The impact of this crime is notorious. My grandchildren's grandchildren will be able to read about this horrible, disgusting crime. We will never, ever be the same.
The evidence stacked up against Joel Jr. as the case came to trial, yet he pleaded not guilty. Evidence from family and from Joel Jr.'s notebook showed that his motive was financial. Joel Guy Jr. had been financially supported by his parents for his whole life, with Lisa working tirelessly in order to give the majority of her paychecks to her son. Yet as they were nearing their retirement, the couple decided it was time for their 28-year-old son to stand on his own 2 feet and planned to cut him off financially. Joel Jr. had guessed what was happening and was not happy. Realizing that his parents would no longer support him, Joel hatched a plan. He thought that if both of his parents were dead, he would be able to access their $500,000 life insurance policy. On top of this, Joel Jr. would have access to his parents' other assets, such as their cars and their boat. For most of us, hurting any of our family members is inconceivable. But Joel Jr. not only killed the 2 people who loved and supported him the most, but he did it for money. Joel Sr.'s family members took to the stand to confirm he had been planning to cut his son off financially. Joel Sr. had been planning to tell Joel Jr. that coming Christmas, which the family would have celebrated in their new Seguinsville home, had their lives not been cut tragically short.
Well, the week before, they were at the house, and we were talking about what they were going to do, and they said that they were going to wait till Christmas to talk to Joe Michael, that they were going to have him to start paying his bills and stuff.
And this was a close family. They like to talk. And they discussed these plans, and you just can bet that Lisa Guy, who was Mr. Joel Guy Jr.'s biggest fan, his enabler, his supporter, you know that she told him. She had to tell him in advance what he was in for, what was coming up for him. You know that happened. If they're talking about it with Michelle and Angela and Joel Sr.'s sisters in October and November, you know that the defendant knew about it, and you know that his mother told him. So he knew what was coming. And he's smart. He's smart enough to know that once his mom retires, once she quits her job, that insurance money's gone. He isn't getting that. He's not getting that. And he's not used to supporting himself. He's used to having the support and care from his mother, primarily, taking care of his needs, providing him with an apartment, with utilities, with a car, gas money, paying his bills, his tuition, paying for his books, paying for everything. He's used to having her pay for everything. And he wasn't about to let them cut him off.
A further grim detail was explained by Michelle Tyler, Joel Jr.'s half-sister. She stated that she had seen the blue containers in Joel Michael Jr.'s car during their Thanksgiving celebrations, 2 days before the murders. These blue containers would be the ones into which Joel Jr. would place chemicals and parts of his parents' bodies. Day 2 of the trial, Tuesday, September 29th, saw footage of Joel Jr. in Walmart, just hours after the deaths of his parents, where he was purchasing bandages and plasters to put over the cut on his thumb he sustained after he attacked his dad.
On the video, you can see that he has what appears to be bandages covering some type of injury on his right and left hands.
More photos and videos from this house of horrors were also shown. The pot that contained Lisa Guy's head was also shown to the court. Multiple items in the house used for the murder had Joel Jr.'s fingerprints on them. Officers came to the stand to further describe what they found. One officer described the smell, stating that he would never be able to get that smell out of his head. Throughout these graphic descriptions, Joel Jr. sat emotionless, not reacting to the horrific testimonies being given by Knox County police officers.
In a case where somebody is charged with premeditated murder, and I've tried many premeditated homicides, usually you have to put premeditation together circumstantially. And many times I have argued to a jury that you will have to put facts A, B, C, D, and E together to prove this element of premeditation. It's not like you'll have a notebook or an outline or a diary entry that's going to tell you every time. And how ironic that I finally got a case where I have that. That's exactly what we have. We have basically what amounts to a diary that outlines a plan of intention to kill. And we have a motive.
Each new detail presented in court revealed the depths of Joel's cruelty. On the third day of the trial, a further forensic investigator described how they removed the liquefying bodies from the property, describing the way the flesh of Joel Guy Sr.'s head had been entirely eaten away by the acid solution, leaving it skeletonized. Joel Jr.'s only friend and old roommate also spoke to the jury. Michael McCracken, who met Joel Jr. at school, had been friends with Joel for nearly 10 years. He described Joel Jr. as a socially awkward person who was becoming more of a recluse the older he got. A phone call between the two after Joel Jr. had been arrested was played for the court, in which Joel said that Michael was the only good thing in his life.
I don't know what to say. All of that aside, I am angry and lost and confused and disappointed and upset and mourning you like your day, even though I'm talking to you on the phone and I don't. It's taking everything I have to process and maintain my sanity. I think of you all the time. You were the only good thing in my life. All the crap in the apartment. You're the only thing I'll miss.
Joel Jr. had sat through the delivery of horrific evidence and the heartbreaking testimonies from family and friends of his murdered parents. Yet this moment, seeing his best friend in court, was the only time Joel Jr. showed emotion in the trial. The fourth day of the trial, a Thursday, saw the beginning of deliberations. Joel Guy Jr. turned down the opportunity to testify, and the charges against him were read out again.
I feel like you've been given enough advice from us, and you're on thinking. Yes. And have you made a decision? Yes. And what is that?
And you do understand, if you wanted to, regardless of what your attorneys advise you, that you certainly could. That decision is completely yours. You understand that, Mr. Guy? And so it's your decision after being informed and discussing this with your attorneys to not testify in this case. Is that correct? All right, thank you, sir.
Finally, on Friday, October 2nd, 2020, Joel Guy Jr. was found guilty on all charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of first-degree felony murder, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse. Joel was found unanimously guilty on all 7 counts, with over 700 pieces of evidence shown to the court. Joel Michael Guy Jr. remains in prison and is incarcerated at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville, Tennessee. His sentence will last for 124 years, and he'll be eligible for parole on April 30th, 2136. What are your thoughts on this tragic and heartbreaking story? Do you think anything could have been done to prevent these murders? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. At The Decoder, we gather evidence from reliable sources to bring you the truth about true crime. Your support is what keeps us going, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons on your way out. And also, don't forget to click the notification bell to not miss any of our uploads. Until next time, stay safe and take care, and we'll see you soon on The Decoder.